Hey ANPers, this is Dr. Jones checking in. This is ANP1 Lecture Test 3 video 9? I think 9. And we're on Noteset page 10, which for me looks like this. It's the hormones and calcium homeostasis page. Calcium homeostasis is the name of the game today. So the hormones, we're going to thread. Yeah, thread's a good solid choice. Parathyroid hormone and calcitonin. Maintain calcium homeostasis. And here you get the calci kind of bit of the calcium in the word. So together they control calcium storage. And where is calcium stored? In the bones. Calcium absorption, and calcium is absorbed from your food by your digestive tract or GI tract. GI is for gastrointestinal. Gastro means stomach and intestinal means intestines. And calcium excretion. So excretion is getting it out of the body, and you excrete it into the urine. And what makes urine? Kidneys. Kidneys make pee-pee. That's how that works. Okay. So when blood calcium is too low, the parathyroid glands release parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid hormone, way back in the day when I was in school, was called parathormone, which I still say occasionally because I think parathormone sounds cooler than parathyroid hormone, and that's how that works. So there you go. So what in the Hades does parathyroid hormone do? Where are we talking about it? It increases blood calcium levels. Now you have to be careful here because you've got your negative feedback, you've got your set point of calcium level. And then you've got time. Okay, so they can ask you two different questions. They can say, when calcium is low, what hormone do you release? And what you release is parathyroid hormone. So when blood calcium levels are low, what hormone do you release? Parathyroid hormone. They can also ask that question from the opposite direction. When the body releases parathyroid hormone, what happens to blood calcium levels? Whoop. They go up. Okay, so parathyroid hormone is released in response to low blood calcium, but what it causes is rising blood calcium. Because negative feedback does the opposite of whatever's wrong. Blood calcium is too low, raise it. And that is negative feedback right there. Okay, so how does parathyroid hormone increase blood calcium level? It stimulates osteoclasts. You may recall from a previous video that osteoclasts are the destroyers, like that. So they're giant multinucleate cell. Multinucleate means they have more than one nucleus, in this case lots. They have lots of nuclei. And what do nuclei do? All right, so someone's got it. The nuclei do the whole transcription, start the transcription translation bit to make proteins. The nuclei contain DNA, and the DNA are the recipes to make all of the proteins, structural proteins, and also enzymes. Enzymes are proteins. Okay, so what do the osteoclasts, what proteins, structural proteins or enzymes do the osteoclasts make? Proteolytic enzymes. So the proteolytic enzymes are enzymes, and of course all enzymes are proteins, that dissolve proteins. And what are the proteins, the major proteins in the bone matrix? Well, 1/3 of the bone matrix are organic proteins, the collagen fibers. So when they stimulate osteoclasts, they make more proteolytic enzyme and start dissolving the bone. They also make acids, and the acids dissolve the calcium matrix out of the bone. And where does that released calcium go? Back into the bloodstream. So it stimulates osteoclasts to eat holes in the bone to release the calcium from the bone matrix back into the bloodstream. Number 2. Increase calcium absorption. And what absorbs calcium? The digestive tract. And we'll talk more about how that works next semester. And it decreases calcium excretion. So excretion is when you, in this case, pee out the calcium. So we're going to decrease calcium excretion. So we're going to pee out less calcium, which means we're going to retain more calcium. And so those are the 3 ways that we increase parathyroid hormone: by increasing the osteoclasts, which dig holes into the bone, releasing the calcium into the bloodstream, so that raises the blood calcium levels. We're going to increase calcium absorption from the food, so that increases the blood calcium levels. And we're going to stop peeing out the extra calcium because we no longer have extra calcium to pee out. Okay? At the very least, we're going to pee out less. So by losing less, we'll keep more. Anyway, that helps to increase the blood calcium levels. Meaning that when blood calcium levels are low, we release which glands? Parathyroid glands release which hormone? Parathyroid hormone. And makes the bones release more calcium. And this is the little paragraph, meaning that when there's not enough calcium in the blood, parathyroid hormone makes the bones release more calcium, the intestines absorb more calcium, and the kidneys release less calcium into the urine. Therefore, calcium ion in the blood increases and homeostasis is restored. So those where there's like a slash, like release or store, more or less, I tend to circle the right answer. You can underline, highlight, make colors on the right answer, whichever you want. Okay, so that's what happens when the blood calcium is low. What happens when the blood calcium level is too high? Next. When blood calcium is too high, the thyroid gland secretes calcitonin. Calcitonin, where are we in them? There we go. Decreases blood calcium levels. So when blood calcium levels are too high, we're going to release the calcitonin, which is capital C, capital T, and it functions to decrease blood calcium levels. How? It inhibits the osteoclasts. It makes them stop eating holes in the bone. And it also increases calcium excretion, so you're going to pee out more calcium. And that response is at the kidneys because it's the kidneys that make the urine. Okay? Meaning, and again, this can be asked from either question. What hormone is released when the blood calcium is too high? Calcitonin. Or what organ releases a hormone when the blood calcium is too high? The thyroid gland. Did I say organ? Yeah. And then what is the response of calcitonin? What does calcitonin do? It lowers blood calcium. Okay. Meaning that when the blood calcium is too high, calcitonin makes the bones store more calcium. The intestines stop absorbing more calcium, which makes them absorb less calcium. And the kidneys make you pee out more calcium. So they release more calcium into the urine. Calcium ion, these brackets here are chemistry symbol for the word concentration. I've already told you that. Anyway, there's no reason to spell out the word concentration in your life again after now, because you can just use the little brackets. Anything inside the brackets is read as the concentration of calcium ion in the blood decreases and homeostasis is restored. So too low, parathyroid hormone makes the blood calcium levels go up. Too high, you release calcitonin, it makes the blood calcium levels go down. Too low, you release parathyroid hormone or parathormone, and makes blood, same thing, makes the blood calcium levels go up. And so this is homeostasis, is keeping the body in a relatively stable internal environment. And this range, did we already have this conversation? Did we talk about WNL? We should have talked about WNL with test 1. As a review, WNL means within normal limits. There's not one number. This line down the middle is the set point. The set point is not the only correct number for blood calcium level. Anywhere in this range is normal. This is a normal fluctuation back and forth. If it didn't fluctuate, we are a dynamic process, and maintaining our aliveness is a dynamic process. It's not a static thing. It's a response, always a response. There's things happen and we respond to them, and that's how we maintain balance. We're never, if you only consider these points right here balance, then we're like never, hardly ever in balance. But really the gentle swinging back and forth is a balance. Okay. Oh, no, that was the end of that page, except I was supposed to say, what are the effects of losing and gaining calcium in the bones? So the effects of losing calcium in the bone makes them weaker, and gaining calcium makes the bones stronger. Also, osteomalacia is when the bones appear normal, but they are weak and flexible due to poor remineralization. So they look right, but there's not enough calcium and other minerals. Excuse me. And then rickets is a vitamin D3 deficiency seen in children, which is an osteomalacia in kids. And it's from a vitamin D3 deficiency. How do you get vitamin D3? Oh yeah, we've had this conversation. That was like, oof, a while ago. When was that? But how do you make vitamin D3? That's right, sunlight on the skin. Or you can eat it, right? You can take low-dose vitamin D3 pills. There's vitamin D3 in the milk products, probably green leafy vegetables, maybe like castor oil. Probably the fishes have vitamin D3. A, D, E, and K are the fat-soluble vitamins, so probably in the fatty type foods. Okay. Or like there's calcium in bone broth. They say bone broth is really good for you. So we're moving on. This was ANP1, lecture off topic. You're shocked, I'm sure. ANP1, lecture test 3, video 9, and we covered page 10, calcium homeostasis, the hormones. All right. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It's good to virtually see you here. The education must go on. Dr. J.